Hey, everybody. Welcome to our final day of the boot camp. Oh, gosh. I hope you're all doing well. I see some folks having a lot going on. Please remember that it is okay to catch up. And just because the live streams aren't happening anymore, it doesn't mean the learning stops here. But gosh, what a couple of months, huh? Well, let's get right into it. Today is our fourth mixed topics day. If you haven't caught any of those yet, don't worry. What we're doing today is, gosh, people are talking about being warm. Same here. What we're doing today is bringing back any topics that we might have more questions about throughout the boot camp. Maybe some things aren't fully clear yet. Maybe we can cover something that didn't, fully make sense to us, or just some curiosities also about working in tech. Doesn't have to cover everything that's in the bootcamp, or anything that you might have going on with HTML and CSS we want to talk about. So please bring those questions while y'all can hear me okay, right? I hope so. Let me see. My microphone seems to be working. Anyway, loud and clear. Fantastic. Thank you. So yeah, let's hop right into it. If you are joining in for the first time, hi, Carmen here. We are doing this free web development bootcamp along with Jess and Etta in collaboration with Free Code Camp. If you're tuning in for the first time, don't worry, you're not missing anything because everything's recorded and saved on YouTube at youtube.com/at Bad Website Club. You can find all of the recordings of the live streams there. You can join us at Discord at discord.gg/uppercase KVU, lowercase m, uppercase VXA. Bootcamp schedule, well, not much more to keep up with anymore, I'm afraid, but you'll find all of the lesson write-ups there, badwebsite.club/bootcamps/spring-2026. And by attending this bootcamp, you're agreeing to abide by our code of conduct, Bad Website Club, badwebsite.club/code-of-conduct. If you see anything that's out of sorts, please let us know. Yeah, let's see what folks have got going on. What is Bad Website Club doing when this cohort is finished? We're gonna go back, regroup, debrief on how the bootcamp went, and go over the feedback we've been receiving from you all, and gosh, just planning what's next. But I can't share on behalf of the three of us because we haven't talked about it yet. So, how are we feeling? Let me bring up my screen real quick. Is there anything will there be a feedback survey? See, even that I don't know. Remember, we're doing this for free in our spare time. So, yeah, let's... Why don't the three of us come on and play Q&A? Well, I'm doing Q&A today, so if you have any questions today, I'd love to answer them. How are we feeling? Are there any topics that we want to cover? Is there anything we might have missed? Is there anything we want to go over again? Any curiosities, any deep dives we want to do? Y'all are so sweet saying you're going to miss this. You're starting the grid section. That's cool. If nobody has anything they want to... Sinak is saying, I want to clarify the keyframe thing. They help you create animations without necessarily defining every single frame. That's cool. Sinak, did you mean you want to go over it again? Or did you want to explain it to us? Okay. You define the keyframes and the computer calculates the rest from those. I actually do have something prepared for you all. If we don't have anything that you want me to cover. Hi, Mel, you're not late. I do have something to show off to you all if you'd like to see maybe one more thing that wasn't covered in the boot camp and is one of my favorite topics. Would you be interested? There's a lag, so I'm going to take that as a yes, given we haven't really got any lingering questions. So let me bring in my screen and tell you a little bit about what I would like to show to all of you today. And that is view transitions. Now, if you haven't heard of view transitions, they are quite possibly my favorite thing in the web right now. Baking and Nancy is saying, weren't we going to have a topic on how to use Git? Not that I recall. Could it be Jess mentioned? Didn't Jess go over Git the other day? I think she did, didn't she? Let me cover view transitions. Y'all are going to like them, I promise. So before I show you view transitions themselves, let me show you this website I've got, right? So we've got here a body with a nav, 3 links in it, an index, about, and contact. We've got a main with a div class set to card. Let's ignore this view transition name for now. That should have not been there. So we've got an image, div class card content. Now, let me bring in my other screen. This is what it looks like. Okay, so we've got our index page, and we can navigate between the 3 pages. Now, without explaining to you right away what view transitions are, I think I want to show you what they are. So you probably saw there's a couple more pages. Contact, kind of similar, except this link is the active title. A link and a card. An about page, same thing. Active link and a card. But what's interesting is going on here in the CSS. So what do we have here? And not something super new you haven't seen before. Couple variables, body with a font. I've got a comment here saying we will be opting into cross-document view transition. Title nav. One animation that I will be activating later. Active title, which doesn't do anything right now. Some hover effects. Some more effects for the links. How the main will look. Any card stuff. For the image. The card content. The H2 inside the card content. Card content. This is a very, very rudimentary website. So I'm gonna... So is it like a state changing that auto-populates a CSS placeholder? I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. What is it here in this context? View transitions, I'm going to show you what they are in just a minute. Bear with me. and some stuff for prefers reduced motion, which we're going to get back to in a bit. What I really want to show you is view transitions themselves. Now, view transitions are an API or a programming interface that allows you to animate when you transition between pages. So like ActiveTitle doesn't have anything in it now. Does it get autofilled? Oh, no. That is just CSS. View transitions are a part of the website. You'll see what I mean. So view transitions, as I said, were recently added as a way to animate transitioning between transitioning between web pages. Check this out. So by typing in @view transition, notice it's an @rule, which means it gets applied by the browser, not the CSS engine. And navigation, we will set to auto. That's it. So when we switch between web pages, it will now be animated. Does it let you go frame by frame, similar to how you use a debugger to go through code line by line? Nope. This is for animated between web pages. This CSS file, by the way, as Sinak said, sharing the same CSS file. What are the other options besides auto? Bear with me. Let's see what the view transitions are. Y'all are eager. I love it. So let me go back here. Now watch this. So I'm going to click on About Now. Can you see how instead of just switching web pages, it's fading in and out? Our website now has view transitions, and these are built into our website. Mel saying it's fading in. Yeah. But that's not all we can do. The stream compression kind of messes up with it, but yes, it's animating between them. So this is the very, very base of view transitions. So back to your question, what are the other options besides auto? I'm going to be honest, I have no idea. Let's find out. View transition, CSS @rule. Oh, the other option is none, which you might assume means that there's no animation. The document will not undergo a view transition. How is this possible? I thought the browser controls how sites are switched between pages. Is it fading in on load? Using events. This, remember, is an @rule, so it's done by the browser. So yeah, it's the browser controlling it. But it gets wilder than that, friends. What if a page is very heavy and there's a lot of stuff to load? Oh, actually, we can simulate that. So what if? Let's find out. Do all browsers do this or only some? Can I use? Y'all are, no. Carmen, please focus on one thing at a time. What are the pages very heavy? Okay, let's set this to 3G and find out. It's loading. It's loading. It's loading. So conclusion. Hang on. Wait, do I have them activated? I do. Looks like they don't work. That's cool. So the browser knows not to activate them if the network is slow. I like that. What was the other question? Do all browsers do this? Let's go to Can I Use? So, Internet Explorer does not support them. Opera Mini does not support them. Last released in 2015. I've never even heard of this browser. Ooh, KaiOS, Baidu, and QQ do not support them. It also created a delay. Yeah, that's because I slowed down the network connection. Right. So I'd also like to show you how to do custom view transitions. I'm just going to copy paste all of this code. Let's take a look. We've got our keyframes, which Sinak was talking about. Move out, move in, and we've got these transition old, transition new CSS animations. I actually have no idea how this is going to work. Let's find out. Once I bring that in, whoa. I mean, it's not something I would recommend doing, but something you can do. But I don't really want to show you those animations just yet. I want to show you how you can also, and this is something that you might have noticed, that the cards weren't moving. And that's because for the cards, we're using this view transition name card home. And this is exactly for that. We can tell the browser, do not animate the card. But what I also want to show you, and I'm quite excited about, is what I left empty here. So for the title nav active title, I'm also going to add in this view transition name. And I'm going to call it page title. I can call it whatever I want. In this case, all of the active titles are going to be, all of the active titles are going to have this view transition name page title. And what that allows us to do is to anchor those during the view transition. Check this out. Watch how it goes from about to contact. So now it's animating between them, which is pretty nice. But now I want to uncomment this color and font size. This color. And now it's even animating the switch in color. So this is just some of the things you can do with view transitions. But what, of course, not everybody wants to have them built into their website, which is this last part here. So if I scroll down, if your user prefers reduced motion, we will say deactivate all view transitions. Did we not want to transition the cards? I didn't want to. But if you want to, you can. Let me show you some other ways that I'm using view transitions, for example, in my website. So I like the name Carmen Huidobro to animate to the top left of my website. So when I click on, for example, my blog, watch how my name moves up to the top left. Same goes for the blog post titles. And they work when you go back as well. Also, because the header is the same across every page, you'll probably notice that it doesn't animate. That's like the cards in the other website. I tell them not to animate. So only the content of the website does the view transitions. So these are just some of the things you can do with view transitions. I'm not going to deep dive into them. Just wanted to showcase something extra that you can do. Are the fade in and slide in and out effects used as you scroll down on some pages in this category of transition, or are they some other JavaScript thing? No, I think as you scroll down, I think it might have to do, I think different libraries do it differently. This has nothing to do with view transitions. What you're talking about with scrolling, remember, view transitions are only for switching between pages. So these you're going to want to do there. For scroll effects, I think, for example, for anchoring stuff, you have CSS for it. I think we did it during this boot camp. And like when stuff moves in and out, I think that might be CSS, but I'm not sure. Does prefers reduced motion have anything to do with if they're in a phone instead of a computer? No. Phone browsers support animations. Can I optimize it? Can I optimize it all? Define optimize. What are we optimizing here? The animations, or, I mean, you can use the what's it called? The dev tools. You can use the dev tools to optimize the animation if that's what you mean. Could you please explain layout shift? Yes. Content layout shift. I believe Google has a really good article on this that I don't even need to like explain it because it shows it so well. So content layout shift is perhaps the most irritating thing on the planet. Notice how we have here an order confirmation. You have 56 items. Is this correct? And the user wants to go and click on, yes, place my order. Now, the website is loading, bear in mind. And how many times has this happened to you? You go to click on it, and all of a sudden, an ad shows up. Hey, blah, 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 show this faster. Check out how the user, I'm just going to go back a little. Check out how the user wanted to, I love how they animate it. So the user wanted to press no go back, but then the ad shows up and shifts the website. That is content layout shift. Google and other search engines can detect for when indexing, they can detect this layout shift and penalize you for it. So you want to have your website load all in one go. Hope that's helpful. I'll share this link, by the way. It's really interesting. So Mel's asking, how do you decide which animations are activated when on different devices? I guess media queries can help you with that for things like screen sizes, but I don't know if there's a way to activate animations on older devices. Related to what Baking and NC is saying, what determines if prefers reduced motion is active or not? Like, I get the at media. The browser will determine if the user will prefer to have animation turned off, like at the level of their computer or the browser. I don't know if I understand the question. The user of your website has a setting on their activated to turn off animations. Is that what you want? How does the browser know? The same way the browser knows there is dark and light mode. It since it's a program running on the computer, it since it's a program running on the computer, it asks the computer, hey, does it prefer less animation or high what's it called, high contrast mode? I hate it when websites cover stuff or pops it in. One site I was on would cause an ad model to appear every time I hovered over a banner. Yeah, these are called dark patterns, but the banner was between the list of items and the menu. It was so frustrating, I ended up not buying from there. And Google, like, search engines know that, and that's why they penalize it. Yeah, that's view transitions. That's cumulative layout shift. Do we have questions about other stuff? I'm going to give you all a moment to do so. I also want to talk about the fact, given that this is our last day together, and I think I saw Baking and NC mention that you could find them on Discord. Just want to remind you all, just because the live sessions have ended today, does not mean that we're done learning, or that you're ready to find a job or whatever. Not because you're not ready to find a job in tech, but because you're probably finding you're probably going to be finding yourself thinking like, okay, well, what do I do now? I need a project. What kind of project should I make? And there are several ways to approach this. You might find on some resources online a way to a list of projects you can do, little challenges that are always fun if that's your sort of thing. There's ideas for what are they called? Personal portfolios, if you've already done some personal projects. Just showcased Git the other day. Now's a great time to start looking into Git and GitHub and putting up websites. If you want to start putting up your HTML and CSS, I'm not going to show you how to do it today, but I would recommend taking a look at GitHub Pages, because it allows you to take any GitHub repository, and I'm just going to pop a link there. It allows you to take any Git repository where you have HTML and CSS and turn it into a live website. It's a great service they provide. But what I really want to drive home from here, because it can be very, just for a lot of people, there's often this barrier of like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to move on to the next coding course now. And a lot of people tend to find themselves in this sort of like hamster wheel of doing courses. I'm not ready for a job. Mel's been using Netlify to host silly pages. That's fantastic. Should we go ahead and start using JavaScript section in tutorial hell? Thank you, Sinak. I heard the curriculum was recently updated. Does the previous Bad Website Club JavaScript bootcamp still work with the curriculum? That's a great question. I don't know, because I haven't seen the new curriculum. But yeah, definitely worth looking into JavaScript. But what I really want to drive home is that like it can be very tempting to get stuck in this sort of tutorial hell, as Sinak put it, of always doing courses. I'm not ready. I need to do the next course. Well, I've learned HTML and CSS. Now I'm going to learn JavaScript. Great. But then I got to learn Python. Then I got to learn PHP. I got to learn Rust. I got to learn the mobile development. I got to learn Swift. That's the term. Swift. I got to learn this and that. And like, yes, you can learn forever. What I would recommend is get good at a stack. And a technology stack is the group of technologies that you use to build, in our case, a website. HTML, CSS, JavaScript. That is a stack. And that should suffice. If you want my recommendation, stick to that for now. And then you can start branching out into things like static site generators. And when it comes to things like more sophisticated full stack applications, pick your poison. Next.js, Nuxt.js, Svelte, whatever. I'm just throwing out terms here. Don't get too stressed about it, because there's no way to get it wrong, especially because the best thing that you pick today is no longer going to be the best thing in 5 minutes, because some JavaScript bro is going to release something and everybody's going to be super excited about it. But the way to know that you're ready to start working on projects independently / for a living, and I really would open myself up to this, is once you feel comfortable to build something without a tutorial, right? When it's just you and documentation. I'm going to do something I rarely do, which is acknowledge the AI in the room. When you get to the point where you don't overly rely on AI to build for you, that's a great way to know you're ready to start doing stuff for a living. So go check out other learning materials. Oh, Sinak telling us how it is. Making things is the only way to know. I'm a big believer in learning by doing. But as I've been teaching for a while, and I know that there are folks out there who prefer to spend more time on the theory, that's valid too. Mel says that the new JavaScript course is an improvement to what it was 2 to 3 years ago. That's fantastic. Baking in NC says, I'd say once you can teach it to someone else concretely and in a way they understand what you're saying, yeah, teaching is a great way to learn. Building is really hard when you're doing it on your own and you first start. It's slow, but you learn so much faster and fill knowledge gaps. I love that. And it can get really lonely to do so. What I would recommend is use the resources that you have in terms of community. I think community is the most powerful tool that you have at your disposal. If you can find someone else new to build with, it's amazing. Listen, I wouldn't be where I am today in terms of technology prowess as well as career if it wasn't for local in-person stuff. In Vienna and in many cities around the world, there are things like programming meetups, workshops, hackathons, that sort of thing. That helped me a lot. I like this suggestion a lot. Find volunteer opportunities. That's what I did too. I recommend learning Quasar Vue later when you're ready. I promise you won't regret it. This is a promise, folks. I'm teasing. What I'm getting at here is don't. I know it can seem like overwhelming that you're kind of learning by yourself, but remember there are in-person stuff. There's in-person stuff too, and like find each other and take that step. If you want to build together, you can use stuff like, online, what are they, like Zoom or Google Meet or Jitsi and all of that stuff to pair program together where you both work on something at the same time. If you take away one thing from this bootcamp, what I really recommend is it can be really compelling to take the next course, take the next course, take the next bootcamp, take the next resource or materials, and just keep learning forever. I don't recommend that. I think the next stop is the next step rather is to go into a place where you're building stuff. Every time we propose our own Discord study group with meeting rooms and regular live chat sessions, Free Code Camp Mode shot it down as self-promotion. Community is key. Thank you for pointing that out. I will look into a way that y'all can organize because I believe it's important to do so. Yeah, I don't really have much more for today. I'm sorry I didn't show up with balloons. I will say though, congratulations for making it to the end of this. Gosh, it's been what, since like the end of May? No, end of April. That's like 2 and a bit months that we spent together. It's a lot, and I have enjoyed every second of this and appreciate you all. So don't don't give up. Don't get stuck in tutorial hell, Essenek. I really like that term. Don't get stuck in tutorial hell. It'll eat you alive. Just remember that it's more important to just keep going. I'm going to stop before I start getting emotional, but I really enjoyed learning alongside all of you. And thank you for letting me nerd out about view transitions. I know they look like boring PowerPoint stuff, but I find them so powerful. Yeah. All right. No, I'm going to start crying. I'm going to go. It was really fun with all of you. Let's keep in touch. Stay on the Discord. We will email / announce any new things that we do. It's time for the next step. But don't give up, okay? And keep at it, folks. Bye for now.